Like you and me, billions of people had a blast watching Despicable Me 4. But did you know that most of them didn't even notice many incredible little details and Easter eggs in the movie? One that really caught my attention was the appearance of a character from Minions 2 that no one noticed. While Gru is walking through the hall, intending to find Maxima, he passes by some of the guests. And if you look closely to the side, you might recognize this guy in an apron. He was one of the candidates waiting in the room with little Gru to audition for the Vicious Six. It's hard to forget this guy since he was holding a huge cleaver and looked quite threatening. My question is, he's much older than Gru, so how could they be at the same 1985 alumni party? Speaking of Gru's class, the banner used at the reunion shows they graduated in 1985. So this means our villain's class graduated 9 years after Minions 2, which takes place in 1976. If Gru was 12 years old then, does it mean he graduated at 21? I find this quite hard to believe, as LPB is a high school. This shows that Illumination doesn't really care much about chronological timelines. In the first movie, we see that Gru was born in 1960, so in Minions 2, he should be 16, not 12. These are just some of the amazing details in Despicable Me 4. When Gru and his family move to the quiet town of Mayflower and the car stops in front of their new house, the scene focuses on the dialogue between Mr. Ramsbottom, Gru, Lucy, and the girls. But if you look behind, on top of the car, you'll see that one of the minions ends up stuck among the family's luggage. While taking advantage of the situation, one of the other minions even takes a selfie with the friend stuck in the luggage. I would love to see that photo on Instagram or TikTok just to give it a like.
Please don't worry!
From the trailers, we already noticed that at the villain school, many details are related to weapon and explosive symbols, like the school emblem, and we see that the same thing happens at the alumni party. For instance, the pedestals at the event entrance are shaped like explosive rockets. Considering who is hosting the reunion, maybe they really are real. When the minions are at the AVL, they are assigned to do various tasks for the agency. And when one of them is testing one of the grappling shooters, he ends up pulling another minion who was climbing a rock wall, causing several to fall. When this happens, if you look closely, you'll notice that the minion at the top of the wall on the scaffold starts to whistle and pretend nothing is happening. At the same time, the minion who was climbing the ladder starts looking around and slowly descends, as if no one saw him doing it. But we definitely saw it. When the minions and Gru enter the villain school's alumni party, our favorite villain servants are amazed by all the food there. The thing they want to eat the most is a huge red jelly, which ends up falling on one of the minions, trapping him inside, while his two friends pull out the spoons and start devouring the jelly. This is a clear reference to the second movie, where Gru decides to leave the villain life for the love of his daughters and starts a jelly business, which was also red and looks quite similar to the jelly the yellow beings eat in the fourth movie, which was even used to de-transform the minions at the end of the movie because it was so bad. One of the film's most subtle details that few people noticed happens in this same scene. When one of the minions gets stuck inside the jelly, the other two pull out spoons from their suits, which is already very funny. After all, who carries a spoon inside their clothes? The funny detail is that if you look closely, you'll see that the chubbier minion has a spoon that is 3 times larger than the other minions. This definitely explains perfectly why he is rounder than his 2 other friends. I know you love to play, so check out this awesome Sonic toy for you to have fun with. Click the link in the first pinned comment and take it home. A really cool detail that became clearer during the movie is that on the luxurious outfit of the villain Maxima Lemal, there are several cockroach-shaped designs with golden outlines. This reinforces the character's passion for the insects that inhabit the city's sewers. When Gru and his family arrive at their new home, the girls and the minions go upstairs to check out their rooms. At that moment, Mr. Ramsbottom, Gru, and Lucy are discussing a few more important things, and little Gru Jr. is with them. What catches my attention is that the little baby seems to perfectly understand adult language even though he can't speak yet. That's because both he and his mother were always directing their gazes towards Gru and Mr. Ramsbottom while they were talking, just like Lucy does. The funniest part is that before this scene, he acted like a normal baby, just trying to grab the paper in his mother's hand. This really shows that the intellect of the new heir to the Gru family seems to be quite advanced.
Something is missing.
This guy!
Remember the guy with the cleaver who was at the alumni party and appeared in Minions 2? Well, he wasn't the only one. Another villain who was also interviewed to join the Vicious Six, carrying a chainsaw on his back and wearing a Jason-style mask, was there too. He is seen right at the entrance of the party, talking to 2 other villains. Even without the chainsaw on his back, we can tell it's the same character by his checkered shirt and hockey mask. It really seems like Illumination had the idea to reuse several characters from previous movies. That's because behind the guy in the hockey mask, we can see another villain dressed in Egyptian clothing. This is the same pharaoh master who the minions ended up toppling a pyramid on, seen when the Yellow Being's story is told in the first movie. Every time I see this pyramid scene, I laugh a lot. Probably in the scene where we see the AVL bus taking the minions to the Anti-Villain League headquarters, you might have seen a lot happening at the same time and missed some details. For example, one of the things happening is that one of the minions is literally unclogging another minion's face.
No time to explain. Attack!
Or maybe you didn't notice that as soon as the bus appears, one of the little yellow beings is simply rubbing his butt on the bus window for the other drivers on the highway to see without any shame. Minions are truly the craziest beings in animation.
Thanks, Ron.
And to prove that Gru's servants are really crazy, one of them holds a sweet donut and makes a face like he's completely out of his mind. Seriously, I laughed a lot when I saw this scene. Look at the face the minion makes. If you really love cartoons, we have some incredible news for you. We've launched a new quiz channel. In it, we'll test our knowledge about our favorite cartoons and movies like Bluey, Peppa Pig, and many others. It will be a journey full of challenges, laughter, and lots of fun with Wavy. Don't waste any time. Subscribe now at the link in the description or point your camera at the QR code on the screen and start playing. I'll see you there. When we see Maxime transform into a half-cockroach man, the minions react quickly, and one of them pulls out a spray pesticide. If you look closely, you'll notice that the bottle he's holding has the same colors and names as the pest control truck we see when the villain bursts out of the ground with his giant robotic cockroach. Right after, we find one of the best hidden Easter eggs in the movie. When Gru reveals he's an AVL agent and shows his badge, if you look closely, you'll notice a small QR code in the corner of the badge with a little detail. It features a reference to the minion's visor, which is basically the yellow being symbol. Similarly, when Gru arrives home later with groceries and we see him putting some items in the fridge, we can notice that one of the fridge magnets is exactly the minion symbol, used to hold some notes. When we see Maxime in his lair with his cockroach minions, we can see that all of them are wearing soldier helmets. But at a certain point, we can see that just like on the supervillain's outfit, the cockroach helmets have an insect-shaped insignia that seems to be the Maxime Le Mal team logo, just as Gru has his G as his trademark. Additionally, we also notice that one of the little yellow cockroaches wearing a helmet has a small white box tied to it. This is a reference to World War II soldiers who did the same with cigarette packs. This is definitely a pretty interesting historical reference, but remember, smoking is very bad for your health. One thing I really love about Illumination movies is their wealth of hidden details. When Maxime unveils his evil plan on the table, he punches it. We can see two little cockroaches on the table with him. Notice that when he does this, one of the cockroaches ends up on its back and can't flip over. This is a reference to what often happens in real life, as when a cockroach ends up on its back, it has a hard time flipping back over. If you've never seen this, take a look at your floor now, because I think I just saw one crawling by your foot. If it didn't pass by, then I was mistaken. But what I'm definitely not mistaken about is that these two videos appearing for you right now are really good, and if I were you, I'd watch them both. Just a friendly tip, okay? Then, leave a comment about which one you liked the most. See you in the next video. Bye!